Hey there, it's Scott at the Pedal Guy. How you doing? Well, we're all about pedal demos, pedal knowledge, and pedal sales. I love pedals, and so do you. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the brand new firmware for the NuX MG30. It just came out, and there's already a firmware update, and there's so many incredible new features and improvements. I know you're going to love this. So let's get to first updating the unit. What you need to do next is you need to put the MG30 into update mode. In order to do that, you simply hold down the first two foot switches and then turn on the MG30, and this will put the device in update mode. And you can also see from the application now that it has detected the MG30. At this point, all you need to do is select the update file and start the update process. Now, as a word of warning, it can take up to 30 minutes before the update process is over. So once that's done, all you have to do is simply turn off the MG30, quit the application on your desktop, turn it back on, and now you're ready to check out the brand new firmware. And one last little thing, you're going to want to make sure that you download the latest version of the QuickTone editor, because there have been some significant improvements to the editor, and I'm going to show you what that's all about right now. Just to give you an idea of where we've come from and where we're going, what you're looking at right now is you're looking at the original QuickTone editor that came with the first version of the MG30. Now let's take a look at the brand new one. Okay, here's the new QuickTone editor. Doesn't look all that different, but there are some key workflow features that have been integrated into the editor that I'm going to go over throughout the rest of this video, but this is what it looks like. Now, let's start by talking about what's actually new in this firmware update to the MG30. So let's start by covering a cool little workflow feature here. Let's say I'm making some adjustments to the gain and to the master knobs of the amp here, but I want to revert back to the original settings found within this preset that I'm working in. All you need to do is simply press and hold the fourth rotary encoder, and they will revert back to their original settings. When we're talking about USB audio recording with the MG30, there have been some remarkable improvements in this update. And unfortunately, because of time constraints, I can't cover it all here. I'm going to use another video to actually cover this topic. But just one thing that I do want to point out here is the dry out feature, which enables you to not only record a dry unprocessed track, but you can simultaneously record a wet processed track right below it. So you have two separate tracks to work with in your DAW. So just think about all the creative potential that that could give you. Okay, so if you're a fan of impulse responses, you're definitely going to like this feature. If you right click on the cabinet here and select user, this will bring up the blank cabinet. And this is of course where we would load up impulse responses. So double click here, and you can now see that not only can you load up to 20 impulse responses now within the QuickTone editor, but with this list on the right hand side, you can now easily organize your impulse responses, and that just makes the whole experience much easier. Okay, now I know this is a feature you're going to love, which are quick scenes, and these are snapshots that you can store within a preset. Now you can store up to 3 of them within a preset, and what this does is it enables you to turn off and on various effects, EQs, whatever you want per scene. So you can create 3 presets within a preset. That is how cool quick scenes are. Let me show you what I mean. So in this preset here, I've got scene 1, 2 scene, and scene 3. So what I want to do in scene 1 is I actually want to turn off the modulation effect. So at that point then, I'm going to go to scene 2 by selecting it there, and you can see that the modulation is turned on, and I'm going to keep it on. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn on the boost as well. So now I have a boost, and I'm going to go to scene 3, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the boost on, I'm going to keep the modulation on, but I'm also going to remove the delay and reverb. Now, maybe you don't actually want to do that, but the idea here is that you have 3 new variations within this preset. Now, if you want to map that to the control foot switch here on the MG30, it's so simple to do. You just go up to the foot switch assignment, and you simply assign foot switch 4, which is by default set to tap. Just simply select scene. And now, if you use the control foot switch, you can toggle between all 3 quick scenes. How cool is that? Okay, now another place that NuX really delivered on this update are the new amps and effects. Let's talk about those amps first. If you're a bass player, you're going to be in heaven, because you now have a dark glass amp, and you also have a Starlifter amp as well. So both of these are now found within the new update for the MG30. Let's have a listen to those. Okay, now let's cover those effects. You now get an Arion stereo chorus. You also get a damp reverb for creating those really cool ambient effects. And you also get one of the most sought after effects that NuX makes today, the Steel Singer, which is fashioned after a steel string Singer amp from Dumble. Okay, now that I've covered the new effects, let me show you something else that you can do with them now. You may recall from the previous version of QuickTone that if you press and hold the compression signal block, you can toggle between compression and effects. So effectively, you could put a tube screamer at the beginning of your signal chain if you want to. You can now go 2 steps further than that. So if you go to the effects signal block, you can toggle between effects, or you can bring in a modulation effect if you want to. So let's say I want to use that groovy new Arion stereo chorus. I can put that before the amp. We can go even a step further. I can go to the modulation signal block and I can toggle and create an effect as well. So for some reason, if I want to put another overdrive in here, or I want to put the Steel Singer in here, I can put it all the way at the end of the signal chain. And this just gives you so many tonal variations. And finally, one of the last things I'm going to touch on here, and then I'll get into it in a subsequent video, because it does require a bit more explanation, are some improvements to the drum and loop feature. You now have more volume for the drums. You also have 3 bands of EQ, which you can access either from the QuickTone editor or by making use of the first 2 foot switches, and then using the second rotary encoder, press, and now you have access to the bass, middle, and treble, or you can do it all from the QuickTone editor. Additionally, with the looper, you can now record in mono or stereo, and now you also have an auto record feature, and that is incredibly useful, especially when you're trying to create loops on the go. But I will get into that in a future video, but for right now, just know that those are there for you to use. Okay, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to come back for future videos where I'll cover more of those in-depth features. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, be sure to visit us at thepedalguide.com. But in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos and tutorials. Thanks for stopping by here at thepedalguide.com, where I love pedals and so do you.